my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white, yeah, it's black and white, we're just black and white, it's my black and white, it's my black and white scarf.
Hello, and you're very welcome to the Town End podcast. It's season 5, episode 2, and it's a win in the league. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that. It's a night where we were able to exercise a lot of demons. It's a goal scored, there's a clean sheet, it's a win in the league. It's been a long time since we've been able to mention a lot of these things. To go through the game tonight, we'll bring in Gally. Gally, how are you?
Not too bad. I was laughing to myself there. We said no more midnight mass, and we're getting close. It's going to be a quick one tonight, but we are getting very close.
Definitely will. Gary, I just said there on the intro, it's been a long time since we've said a first league win. Be able to say a league win. It's been the first time in a long time since we were able to say. I think it's probably July since our last league win. First clean sheet, and I actually can't remember the last clean sheet. I think it might have been a Bowls match or something like that. I think it was 0-0. Score a goal from a set piece. We exercised a lot of demons tonight.
Yeah, it's something we waxed lyrical on this podcast. We couldn't get set piece in the back, and actually couldn't stop conceding, couldn't score. Obviously, was the biggest problem we had. But the biggest glare and obvious thing, and we mentioned the poor Ray of Delvin at the Ciaran, Kilduff and Ciaran pre-season night in December that we hadn't been part of a winning team yet. So I'm sure we were ringing in his eardrums at half time and full time, hopefully tonight. But yeah, it's nice just to get. Look, obviously had some good results in pre-season, but when you get a competitive win, especially at Oriel, we did say that first game of the season when the fixtures came out, albeit at Valentine's night, to be at home, like with the little bit of bite that's in it with Athlone as well, with the two boys on the sideline for us, and some players in and out. It was always going to be a tense affair, I suppose. But it's even Stevens probably in the first half, but we need to get that win out. If we're talking as a whole. We could not miss chances and things, but the result was the most important. Like, to get yourself off to that flare, get that kind of, I suppose, that monkey off your back of not winning the game, like you say, since July, which is, you're talking 6 months, probably 4 of that's football. It's crazy.
It's crazy
for a team like Dundalk. But look, if we had more wins, we wouldn't be opening the 2025 season as a first division team. So look, you got to take it when it's there. But when you're off the mark like that, especially with the way the goal is scored, who scores the goal. We've had young Moody during the week for
Shamrock Rovers
a couple of nights ago. So yeah, look, it's a good start, and it's all we really wanted, isn't it? It's just the 3 points in the bag and get ourselves off to a flyer before the game next week.
Yeah, I think we were not hiding into nothing tonight. I was thinking this on the way into Oriel Park, because I think if we didn't win tonight, the narrative was always going to be Dundalk aren't going to get their own way. They came down here thinking they're the big team, and results aren't going to be handed to them. We go out, we got the win tonight. I think anyone watching the game, you would have to say that the majority of big chances had fallen to us. Leo Gax is probably still wondering how he didn't score tonight. When you get a ball back inside the 6-yard box and there's no keeper in front of you, and you still manage to miss, unfortunately he'll be remembering that one in his sleep. But you had big chances for Horgan in the second half too. Owen Kenny with a super cut in and try to curl one up into the top corner. I think all the big chances fell to us. The fact that I think when we didn't put teams away last season, it came back to haunt us. But I think tonight, take maybe the last 5 minutes. Otherwise, I felt we were pretty much in control tonight. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, I think overall, well, I can probably say with confidence that we were the better team. Albeit the first half's probably even enough, with the exception of the goal. Like you say, it's the first game of the season, so you're kind of, as much as we like to say ourselves that we're, League of Ireland fans, we haven't probably paid much attention, because we've had 10 years of Premier Division football, more, and great success. We probably haven't paid much attention to the league, so we don't really know a lot of it. We've probably paid a bit of attention to Athlone over the years with cup matches, but it's kind of good. You're going into the unknown as a fan, I suppose, watching these games. But we were definitely the better team. We were, could we have been better? Yes, but you're talking about a team that's been through. I mean, obviously got new players in, but you're talking about a team there is legacy from last year as well, and Delvin and things like that, and Mayoa, Sean Cove had a tough season of it last year as well. So there's that little bit of tense in the air, and kind of get almost muscle memory, getting back into the swing of playing competitive football. You know, even when you look at the pitch tonight, I don't want to really start the season talking about the pitch. The pitch looked like, you know, I know it's a tough AstroTurf, but it looked like it was bobbled carpet. It looked really, you know, it looked really tough. Now, it's hard to bobble in an AstroTurf pitch.
Jimmy Fisher will be having words with you next time you see them.
Look, I'm sure they've done all they can with it, unfortunately, at the age that it's at. But yeah, I mean, there's no doubt we were the better team. You just mentioned the last couple of minutes for Athlone. It's probably almost carbon copy what we faced last year. We are 1-0 down, and then in the last 5 minutes we come alive and we're looking for something and we can't get it. And that's kind of what was that Athlone story tonight as well. We've missed probably 4 or 5 really good chances. You know, Hawks has missed with Gaxel, like you said. I think Kenny had 1 or 2 sniffs as well. And you know, you're probably looking at Athlone maybe just hanging in there, and then like the comms were saying, you know, you're hanging in there. As long as we don't put another in the back of it, there's always a chance they'll score. There's always that kind of hope that you'll get a goal, and that's what we were pretty much all of last season. The amount of times we didn't come alive into the last couple of minutes of the game. So it's nice that, you know, we're on. Although we could like a few more goals, maybe at least 2 or 3 more goals that we should have got. On another day, we probably finished them. That'll come over a couple of weeks. But to be the team that's keeping the team at bay for once, it's nice to start the season. Albeit a tough game for everybody, but I think it's nice to be on the receiving end of that, I suppose, rather than having to chase it like we were pretty much 80-90% of last season. Yeah.
Comments seem to be coming in thick and fast anyway. But just a reminder, we're back into the swing of things, Gally. We might as well do our player of the match giveaway for your 15-inch Tony's Pizza from Tony's Pizzeria as well. So not that it's Tony's Pizza, he's not, you know, Vinny's going to give it to you. So don't worry about that. So keep them coming in. There's a mad rush on Horgan here already for man of the match. Something Adrian and Stephen McDonald were talking about in comms for the match tonight was that the fact that Dundalk were able to bring in 5 players from last year into the squad towards it was a whole new squad for Athlone. And I think when you look at the start we had, you know, and how controlling we were for the majority of the match, you'd say that probably had a large factor to do with it, that, you know, Mayo, Sean Keogh already knew each other, Owen Kenny, Daryl Horgan already know each other, A. Dervin already, you know, so in the key areas of the pitch, I felt that we already had a good understanding. Yeah. Do you think, was that one of the major factors for the win tonight?
Yeah, like, you know, the lads, Ken and Ciaran would have said it earlier, and Liam Burns as well, I suppose. If you can get, and we said it kind of at the end of last season, and when we had the night in Oriel Park, if you can get the spine of the team right, like, you know, it was very obvious from early on. You know, Enda Minogue was linked with the squad. Probably, I don't know if I might have been even before the season even started, or before the end of the season came. Minogue seemed to be mentioned a long time, so we're obviously a big fan of him. You've got Mayoa, Delvin. We knew, you know, given the season he had last year, we knew he would have been hungry to go this season again if he could hang on to him. Like the keeper player like Daryl Hogan as well. And the spine of the team, Ebby's come in, Owen Kenny, massive, you know, but keeping these players at the races, at the squad for another year at least was key. I mean, you know, we've signed some really good players. We've got some really young talent, which we no doubt we mention in the next couple of minutes. But I think the lads have done the homework really well. They've made shrewd signings. Mayoa for me was a big one because he was linked with other clubs. I think he was linked both north and south of the border. Hogan, we knew from last summer, was staying, but I think Mayoa and Delvin in particular, I think Delvin's going to have a really good season for us. But you have to get, if you're going to come down from probably a mentally challenging season from last year, you've got to get that spine of the team right. And that's why we were linked with Enda Minogue straight out to get one of the first signings they had to fix with the goalkeeping issue. We've also got Peter Cherry as well. He's obviously plenty of experience, but Minogue will be your number 1 for the season. Once you've got that right, you can set about then kind of getting pieces. But we even mentioned Sean Keogh. You forget Sean Keogh's only a young fella. You know, like he stood up last year. I know he's been part of a team that got relegated, but you could see from day one he was excellent. Teething problems at the start, but again, going to be a top class footballer, an absolute top class player.
I think, Gary, he was one that we mentioned on the preview show. We said if we can get a touch of that player that we've seen in particular that last game of the season at Drogheda, where he was skinning players, getting to the byline. And in the first half, you know, I'm seeing him cut in between players. He's getting to the byline. I'm thinking, God, how high up is he? You know, he looks so natural in a lot of that.
Yeah, the lads are giving them that encouragement to go and look. If there's a gap there, go and find it. Don't be sitting back. Like, you know, play on the press, get at boys early, and Yeah, Keogh was massive as well. These lads, I think, we often mention Vinnie Leonard as well. I mean, he's 16 years of age. He's an absolute tank of a young.
Well, let's go for it. Yeah, I was just going to come to the Vinnie Leonard section of the show.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you go through your season, you go through your signings. You fancy McHale would have been probably maybe this, coming in from Pats on loan, a bit of injury maybe in the season, but to come in and play at the back, first game of the season, like 16 years, like, we have Parasoff as well. We mentioned him; he's 18 tomorrow. Like, but Leonard's 16. Like, I don't even think I was playing football at 16. I think he gave up at 16. Like it's crazy to come in and then to produce that. He looks like a man. And like he's still got growing to do. He looks like an absolute weapon to have at centre back or maybe full back or even in the centre of the park. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he's going to have an absolute fantastic season. The question is if people don't come looking for him. That's the only thing, because where we are. Of course. An absolute banging start for him. Great to have somebody that's only signed his contract in December, if I'm not mistaken, like Christmas Eve or the week of Christmas, something like that. Really, really close to Christmas time. He played the youth football, come in, first game, won us the match. He's like the com said, unfortunately, I didn't see the goal live because it was all over the shop. But I listened to it on the LMFM, and although it was a slow ball in, he absolutely powered that header in. And to be highest first with the ball at 16 years of age. And he's not massively tall. He's just a physical presence, and it's going to be a nuisance for absolutely any centre forward trying to knock him and Mayo down this season. Now, whether he keeps his spot, look, like he hasn't done himself any harm. I don't know if he's going to be the starting centre back, but an excellent, an unbelievable start from unbelievable, and for Killer as well for having faith in these boys to bring them in.
We might start picking out a few of these points, Gally, as we go. We always say it's a testament of a good performance when the man of the match is all over the place. All right. Yeah. So we had a plethora of ones, I suppose, at the start for Horgan, then some Vinnie Leonard ones coming in. Like it's there's some more for Horgan. I think I've seen Jason Crawley here is kind of mentioning, O'Keefe, really solid player there tonight.
You can see the experience again. All the experienced players are getting mentioned. Horgan, Delvin. Keith again could be an absolute true player again. Kenny as well. Kenny's got
a few shirts for man of the match as well there tonight. Just mentioned Dervin as well for a shout out there. Kenny was exceptionally good. His close skill, I think, tonight was really good. And then Horgan stepped in and was extra class tonight. He is man of the match. Oisin Tormley saying great start. Control the game. Could have been 2-3 with a bit more composure. Leonard, man of the match. Like, as I say, it's all over the place where we are with this. It's just funny, a lot of people mentioning Owen Kenny tonight. He seemed to have a bit of a freer role, although he was on the left. He seemed to have that license to cut in, and when he cut in, it seemed to be a thing where Darrell Horgan kind of jumped back out from that 10 position out wide to give him that freedom. And in the first half in particular, he looked exceptionally well. Very composed, good under pressure from defenders. I think that's the maturity that we wanted to see. That obviously Killer had seen this in him, and a reason to bring him ahead for this season. But I think over the past few seasons, in particular in the Premier Division at the start last year when he was thrown in, when we were struggling for goals, tackles were coming in behind him, and he go down very easy and wasn't getting the rub of the green, I suppose, from the referees. But now he has that confidence to take on people. You can see it in his game. He's rolling tackles. He's now moving into the busy parts of the pitch because he's got the confidence to take players on now. And I think that's a new aspect of the game. I really didn't, when we first saw Owen, we thought he was a finisher, if you know what I mean. He looked like he was that poacher in the box, but without a doubt, so far what we've seen in pre-season, maybe even the end of last year, we've now starting to see a more complete player, a more confident player. I think we mentioned it. Could have been even in our pre-season talking about this season could be massive for him because maybe this drop down will give him that confidence. And when you look at him there tonight, he looks like an exceptional player.
Yeah, I when he signed the contract, when we found out he was signing and we were bringing in other players and Ebby and things, we kind of wondered where he played, if they played a two. And I think Steph mentioned, I don't know, pre-season, we might see him out left or right, definitely on the left, like as a marauder and kind of physical, left-sided of a tree maybe. But I think tonight has shown, like you said, that, last season he would have kind of hung around in the box, centre forward type, David McMillan type. But you can see tonight that, you know, I love players who can run in full flight. Like I've always mentioned Robbie Benson. You know, Robbie Benson in full flight with a ball was always exceptional.
yeah.
I know Kenny looks like he could be that type. Kroom could be the same as well. I think he could be another player in full flight with a ball. It's going to be exceptional to watch. But Owen Kenny, yeah, he's going to have a massive season, and the drop will suit players like him, because that year of confidence now, or depending on what kind of season he has, the 6 months of confidence, he's obviously been on trial over the off season as well. You know, has come back to Oriel Park, but I mean, there's no doubt he'd be looking to go again, looking for somebody else to maybe, you know, he's a young footballer. Shop window, his father's gone to the pinnacle of Irish soccer and management, and he looked to do nothing else. When he's watching the likes of Mason Mealy and things like these boys go in the water. But I think, you know, players like himself, especially if you've got the option for out wide and not just through the middle, you know, tonight is should do that. His, like you say, his close play tonight, his first touch of the ball is exceptional.
Exceptional.
You know, and it probably wasn't like that last year. That's where the likes of a centre forward, probably like Ciaran Kilduff, can probably give him that little bit of kind of freedom to do what he wants, because you've always got the likes of a Delvin, Groom, you know, Gaxa behind him, Hogg, and giving him that little bit of freedom that he can kind of cover the space, and he kind of makes a mistake where he mightn't have had that last year because they're probably just fighting to get the ball in the back and then with no real train of thought. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be an absolute weapon this year. I mean, him and Ebby up front, maybe you might see Hogg drop in, or Gax as well. For me, a little bit off tonight, but I mean, you can see the potential there. You can see, like, even that. I'll tell you who probably won't get much of a mention. Mohamed Arz to come on later on. He could be an absolute machine if he just gets running. He might not see a lot of starting games because of who he's got to play with or who he's got to compete with. Yeah. But all the players that come on have done themselves no harm. Perisov, for me, he probably is the best.
Is a good player.
The best debut 2 minutes I've seen. His first 2 minutes on the ball, he just looks like he's out there playing in the green on the street. He just looks like an absolute. He just wants to play football. Again, another player, didn't have to bring him on to the second half. You know, these lads, I just think we're in for one hell of a season. And look, you've seen obviously with different results like the Cove Ramblers coming back, but you know, Kenny, if we're just isolating Kenny in particular, I think he's going to be huge for Kilduff and Ken this season. I don't know if he'd be top goal scorer, but he'll definitely be up there with the assists, I think, because the way he's going to play, he'll be chipping in with goals and assists, and I think it's going to be a huge season for him, absolutely massive.
I suppose this is the thing, that last year we were probably looking at the bench and I'm wondering where things were going to come from. Can we change the game or not? But there definitely seems to be something now that, like you've just mentioned, a number of hungry, like even Wardy coming in.
Yeah,
I did give him a shout though. I was like, Wardy, when he was walking across the pitch at the end, I was like, you really give the ball away in the wrong place there. And he's like, Chris, I was petrified. I ran the length of the pitch to get the ball back because I didn't want the gaffer having to go at me. Like, that's brilliant, even from him, like, because it's that sort of mentality that, you know, if you're looking at a real senior pro busting himself, if he makes a mistake, he's busting himself to get the ball back. Like, that's the sort of mentality that we were missing last year. We felt that, you know, not the players were going missing, but just accountability somewhat with a lot of the players was missing last year. And now it seems like, you know, you've got that sort of impact from the bench. You're talking about hungry players in Parashev, in Harris coming on. And then you're talking like experience and Wardy to be able to bring that in. And like that's a game changer for this year. There's not too many clubs who I don't think will be able to have someone of the caliber of Wardy to be able to bring in off the bench. Like,
yeah, and this, even when you look at the, you know, when you go through the squad photo, the official squad photo, and you see the team that the boys, but we said it here last week on the show. Well, I said it. I'm not trying to say we said it or anybody.
you take credit.
You know, the lads have put together a real squad. I haven't seen a culmination of a squad as exciting as this. You know, I know it's first division, I know it's down a level, but when Stephen Kenny put his team together, it's that kind of, the level's not the same, but it's that kind of buzz. It's that kind of, right, we've got a lot of experience here. We've got seasoned pros. We've got youngsters who are hungry for it. We've got young coaches. You know, we've got a pack. I don't know what the crowd was tonight. It was packed. The Oriel row was massive, absolutely massive tonight. You know, you can hear it on the radio and everything, and it's got that buzz back, and that's what we were lacking. Like you say, accountability last year. I know there was probably more of a mental side of it last year. The lads were just kind of, we spoke to John Mountain at the end of last season and Black Mountain Records, one of our new sponsors as well, we should mention. But, you know, that was lacking last year, and it was probably just more of a mental thing physically, I don't think there was an issue. I just think they were probably just drained. Whereas now they're just, they're off to a win tonight, absolutely buzzing to get going. But the squad the boys have put together, I look, we're going to be up there or thereabouts. We absolutely are. We are the team to beat. We probably should have scored 1-0 tonight with flatter at Athlone, but we're probably looking at scoring conservatively. We probably should be 3-0. We're probably talking 5 really, but if we're being generous, we're probably talking 3-0 tonight. It should have been. But there's talent all over the pitch. Like Jason Crawley says, Harry Groom, he moves like Chris Forrester. Now, he's such a. I haven't really seen him a lot because I haven't really watched a lot of first division football, so you only really see him now. But he's like so easy on the ball, kind of like.
But the team give him a lot. The team give him the ball a lot. It seems like he is like the new Robbie Benton. We want him to carry the ball. He has the confidence, he has the skill to be able to bring that on then as well. Like you can see Darryl is kind of feeding him and Dervin the same. Like Dervin's completely there to break up play and get it going, and then it's distribute the ball. Yeah. If it's going out wide, it's going out to Leo or Darryl or whatever. But if it's coming through the middle, they really want Harry to carry that ball. And like you said, he can carry the ball with such ease. Like I say, he's gliding around the pitch a bit like a Chris Forrester in his pomp, like they say. That's probably a really good one. But there's a lot of Robbie Benson, right up there.
The ball.
So easy. Yeah. It comes so easy to him. It's really good. Just touch on the other chances that we did miss tonight. So, we talked about Leo's and Darryl's as well, one-on-one. Right up to that point, Gary, it seemed to be our transition from when Athlone had the ball trying to press us and maybe trying to get an option to get across into the box, we'd nip it off. But our lightning pace got us right back up there and attack so quickly. I mean, last year we were talking about how it took us too long to get to front to back, but it just seemed like we've dialed in some sort of a cheat code. We're able to turn this around so quickly. Like that's clearly something the Killer's been working on, is that transition from receiving the ball, winning it back in your third, and then getting up to the opposition third in a matter of seconds. That it's a frightening pace. Like I say, we've got people like Horgan, Leo, Harry Groom as well, who can carry the ball to get us there. Dean Ebbe, you've already mentioned him already. He's a brilliant focal point because he's pulling defenders and he's creating space all over. But that could be a hell of a tool, in particular at home, where we're trying to find ways to unlock defenses who are maybe being stubborn against us. But eventually they'll have to push out there and they're going to leave these gaps. And it looks like if that is the case, we have an opportunity now to unlock. And that's something that is nearly alien to us, especially over the past season.
It's not even that we didn't even have pace last year. It was just almost that they didn't have the confidence to take it on. It was kind of, like if we take Owen Kenny, having his pace out of the left, that's something probably we wouldn't really plan for. It was probably something that, on the way Killer has done it, they've brought this team together and he's given this confidence to just go at it. And like you're right. I mean, front to back, we're frightening, but also even if you look at it the opposite way, we looked like we could be difficult to break down. And whereas that was not that was no issue last year. I think me, you, Steph, Donald, Pinker could have broke down the boys from last year. That's how it was poor to watch, and it was just kind of that mental fatigue we're talking. But front to back this year, we've paced everywhere. Like our centre backs are fast. Everybody's fast. Everybody's quick across. Everybody can pass a ball, which is I know it's really stupid to say in football, but they can all pass a ball. They can move. You were talking with Sean Q earlier on, up and down the wing. He can probably be right across the back, right across midfield if needed. There's such a kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A kind of a plethora of players who can play different positions. We've had one or two that could do that over the years, but now we have people, like you say, fitness, pace, quality on the ball, not overrunning the ball. They're not forcing anything. It just happened naturally. Like you mentioned Ebby up there as well. He won't now, with this team, you'd hope he won't have to go out wide. He just have to sit. Almost plays a little bit of sometimes maybe a number 10 to drop off, but. He has that pace around him where he can make them work and get into the box and get his finish. And I mean, if we can just harness that now over the next couple of weeks, kind of, you want to be sitting here maybe 5 or 6 games and we're in the same position and we're kind of talking about how we can get front to back and how we're not being kind of overrun at the back. I think it's definitely something that we've lacked and we've missed. Akin to probably something like, a Stephen Kenny era, whereas that was just, everything was just press. It was relentless, and that's what you're slowly kind of seeing now over the last couple of weeks in pre-season as well, where I think they will be relentless when we get up to speed, probably 6, 7, 8 games in. I think we're going to take some stopping over that kind of period. If everybody stays fit and we get going at them, I think 100% we're the team to watch going forward. Nobody want to face them boys going forward.
Yeah. Just having a quick look at other results in there. Obviously, coming back from 2 goals behind, Cove pulled one out of the bag tonight. If that result had gone for us as well, I know it's very early to be talking about one of other teams' results and stuff like that, but I think we did talk about Cove in the pre-season chat about being one to look out for. Athlone, I think probably when those players start gelling together, it was probably the right time to play them. I think you might have mentioned that it's probably the right time to play them because they will bed in at some stage and they'll probably become a harder team to beat. But Cove have kind of shown maybe they are the one to look out for this year in this league.
Cove are probably that team. I remember when Leicester won the Premier League and Tottenham thought they were going to win it. And then Leicester came out of nowhere. Cove are probably sick that we're the team that's come down. And we've done because they probably they put together an excellent squad, good coaching staff as well, and they'll be up there as well. And look, at Athlone as well, like you say, you'll always have not a strange team, but you'll always have a team that maybe you mightn't expect to go up. Like you might have Wexford or your UCD, Stephen Elliott, Wexford, and that. So, but definitely, I think if you can finish above Cove this year, there's a good chance you'll be in the top 2, if not at the top at the summit there at the end of the season. And I think Cove are definitely the team to watch along with ourselves. I don't want to be biting my words in a couple of weeks, but coming back at it. But I definitely think Cove. I mean, you've seen it like 2-0 down, back.
I think with their budget and all the backing that they have.
Yeah, I'm playing on the pitch tomorrow. It's I'm going down there tomorrow and lend them a hand, so I'll get some info on them.
Put some divots in.
Yeah, I'll dig it up. Yeah, but no, like I said, if you can finish above them, I suppose it'd be the same with us. It's about you don't want to say it's a 2-horse race. It's not. It really isn't. But finish above us or them, you're right in there. You're probably lifting it, and 100% of the team to watch. You'll see it tonight. That fight in the first game of the season, like to be 2-0 down to win 3-2 first match of the season. It's not a bad start.
Before, will we lump straight into player of the match?
Go for it.
Yeah, feck it. We might as well. As I said, this has now gone pretty even. So this is probably anyone's to be part of this is your last chance to start getting them in ASAP. Like I said, it's always a good sign when there's players all over the pitch in different positions and stuff. As I said, plenty for Darrell, plenty for Vinny in there as well. Owen Kenny gets a mention. For you, Gally, what's your thoughts? Who stood out the most for you?
I'll give an honourable mention to Owen Kenny. Owen, for me, when he signed, himself and Mayo, but in particular him, I didn't know we get him back. You would have expected, but you would have thought maybe a Premier Division team might come in to see something in him. But we're delighted that that he signed for us. But 16 years of age. The romantic in me, like Valentine's night, I really can't see past. And it's great to see Harry Green get a mention because I thought he was seeing things. I thought he was the only one spotting him on the field tonight. I thought he was excellent as well, but I don't see anything with 16, especially when everybody's waxed lyrical and Rovers the other night. I know it's molded to a different level. They've got a stone 16-year-old genius down there. Now we've produced our own. But me, Vinny Leonard, there's no way I'm picking anybody else. Not a chance. Not a chance.
You're tugging on my heartstrings here, Gally, for the night that's in it. Look, I think when we seen him partner Mayowa in the Drogheda match pre-season in the Malone Cup, he looked very astute, very assured. Do you know what I also love is the fact that we've actually scored from a set piece as well. That just feels like that has been a long time coming. So look, I'm all in this with yourself. I'll go for Vinny Leonard as well. Good to have somebody else not on our usual suspects for the pizza as well. As I said, it's probably very varied in the people that we could give it. But you know what? For the first one back, we'll give it to Johnny Lynch. Congratulations, Johnny. There is a 15-inch pizza in Tony's Pizzeria on us for you. As Gally always says, lump in something else in there and make it worth your while. And thanks as always to Vinny for his ongoing sponsorship and contribution to the podcast in the Player of the Match competition. Gally, I'm going to leave you with this because I was just thinking about it as enough people reminded me tonight. Stephen McDonald said he was going to tune in later on to see what we said. Plenty of the staff were going back saying, make sure we say good things tonight. There's obviously a lot of the players, a lot of the staff do listen to the pod here. What bits of encouragement, I suppose, would you impart onto them for the season from that performance tonight? And what do you think Killer would be kind of, what's he saying to them as well?
Well, when you consider, I suppose, if you're speaking as a fan, when you consider what's happened the last third of last season, I mean, I don't know what the dates were. It's kind of all happened the same time. You were in Maxi passing away as well, sadly dying. And when you consider that, what's come from it, there seems to be a real, like you look at the Shed Side boys tonight going from the square, first night of the season, a lot of clubs might have maybe were doing the first division and said, I'm not going to watch these this year. I'm not going to watch a team. I'm not going to watch, not really interesting up to Oriel Park anymore. And whatever it may be, any League of Ireland club. But if they take nothing else from it, the crowd at Oriel Park or the fan will always back them. I mean, there's nothing sure. Them lads have probably come into a situation where they were probably told when they got the job, they're mad in the head. People probably told me, you're absolutely mad going in there. New ownership again. We don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to have a club. You're going to get a license. You don't know if the pitch is supposed to be ripped up or wasn't ripped up, this type of thing. But if they take nothing else from it, they'll always have the crowd to back them. But the one thing, what's probably the biggest thing they'll take it from it is that they've got it bang on. Like, you can see it straight away. But the confidence that they have in themselves to go and sign players of, not mixed ability, but mixed levels from the last couple of years. We've obviously got our Hogans and our Mayos. Like, you look at the centre-back pair tonight, combined age of under 40, 37 years. It's crazy when you consider what last year's was.
It's crazy considering my 42nd birthday last week, Ali.
Like, to have that confidence. Like, Vinnie Leonard was born in 2000, what are we talking? 2009. You know what I mean? Like, but to have that confidence, first game of the season against your old club, albeit they were involved with the women's end of it.
Yeah.
We mentioned before, Ken Kieran left one of the biggest jobs in Women's National League. Even to be an assistant. So not to be the manager, to be an assistant. So but he's obviously followed Kieran. He's believed in what he's doing. Liam Bones is there as well. They just have to believe themselves in what they're doing, because the fans will always have their back regardless. Obviously within reason, but you can see nobody in Oriel Park will get annoyed at players not trying. It's when they don't try. These boys have 100% instilled that in them. You can see it. I don't know if it's a Tony Martin, how fit the team is. You can see it straight away. The fitness levels are crazy. Straight out the gate. It can't be easy training up there on that kind of pitch all the time. The confidence will be the key to them, how they go over the next couple of months. But if anything is tonight's anything to go by, we're in for a hell of a season. We said this, we're saying this since probably the end of last season. We are going to be in for a hell of a season. It's going to be very exciting for the fans. And the boys have to take it. If they take nothing else from it, they have to take it. The lads will all, the boys and the adults, the gentlemen, the ladies, all of them people in the stands. It's Valentine's night. Do you know, the place is packed. It's Valentine's night. So I don't know what that says for anybody at home, but waiting on them to come over. But they'll always have them. And even when they go away from home this year, it's going to be massive. It's going to be an absolutely huge season for the club. And I think the lads have absolutely nailed it with the squad. They've absolutely nailed it. I don't think they could have gotten it any more correct with signings. I'd love to see who they thought they missed out on, because I don't think they've missed out on anybody. And more power to it. I can't, literally can't wait till the next game. A long time since we said that.
It really is. When I was leaving to do post-match interviews, the lads in the shed asked us to make sure we give them a shout out, because they had a huge big tifo display. And I think the fact that, like you just mentioned it, although the core of this team is lads who were here last year or who understand the club or were involved in the youth system. There is a number of new players at this club this year. And the noise, the displays and everything that the Shed gave, and we did see some pyro and stuff go off there tonight, and I believe that they have gathered up funds already, the Shed lads, to pay for that fine. So like, fair play to them. Like that's class. Like if you're going to do it and you're covering, it's no extra expense to the club, then that's brilliant. Like, very forward thinking. But I just thought the display, the size of it and everything, it summed up everything. And I think it gives some of these players maybe just a little taste of what it's like. And there's a holy grail at the end of that, and that's there's only a certain number of players who've played for this club who's tasted the success. And when you taste that success, how they get kind of lifted to a new level amongst the fans, and they're talked about in a different way. You talk about those players that got us promoted way back in 08. You talk about all the success in the Kenny area. Like, all those players are on a different level to how we talk about other players. And players have a chance to write a bit of history here and be talked about in folklore forever. And I think creating the display, creating the atmosphere tonight, like, I just think, the support absolutely, and it was a mucky night. It was a horrible night, swirling, wet wind, it was shocking. But I think they hit the right tone, like you said. And there's going to be times this season where it's that atmosphere, it's that yell from the crowd. I think A might have said it, in our chat up in Oriel that time. It's the yell from the crowd sometimes, and that can just give you the extra bit of energy, the extra drive to keep going. And I think if they put on performances like they've done tonight, and the crowd reacts to it in that positive way, like they bounced over towards the Shed tonight. There was times where they were coming over coy last year and kind of apologizing or whatever. But it seems like a breath of fresh air, and I think that'll kind of perforate right the way throughout the team, right the way throughout the fans, and down into the town. As they always said, when Oriel Park's rocking, the town is rocking. You could feel it tonight. You got to touch of that tonight. There's a long season to go. Don't get me wrong, but it's extremely encouraging, and that's all we're looking for. Gally, we have wives to get to. we better wrap this up quickly. Youth football tomorrow. Big shout out. So you've got a charity match down in St. Coleman's Park.
Charity match, TFI are playing down in Cove Ramblers pitch tomorrow against Féileacán Fathers down in Cork. So good match halfway tomorrow. It's not been streamed, but look, we get a video camera. You might be able to see it. But look, nice luck to everybody. I'm going down with a bit of a dodgy hip, but look, we'll see what the story of life. And just a shout out to Mark Harlan, obviously with Black Mountain Studios is on board now as one of our sponsors, and of course to Donald Green and Dundalk Village as well as our main sponsor for the podcast. That's it for tonight. We'll go again. We got two, if you're going to get two away journeys, pick either end of the country, I suppose. That's where we are from for the next few weeks. But the encouraging thing is, we needed a big win. We were the scalp that people wanted to come and take from us. We're the big team coming down. We stood up to that. We put on a good performance. We gave something for the fans to cheer about tonight, and hopefully restored a bit of pride back into Dundalk Football Club. So until next time, come on the town.